evening. Call to order this March 25th meeting of the Winston-Salem City Council and ask the City Secretary to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Larson.
Present.
Councilmember Clark.
Here.
Councilmember Bessie.
Here.
Councilmember Scipio.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Burke.
Here.
Councilmember Adams.
Here.
Councilmember McIntosh.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Present.
Thank you. Would you please join the City Council and me in a moment of silence? Thank you. And would you join the City Council and me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our Sergeant at Arms tonight is Lieutenant Vince Rega. Lieutenant, thank you for being with us tonight. May we have the first honorarium, please?
Item H1, resolution honoring the 2019 Future Outstanding Women Leaders Scholarship recipient. Whereas the Future Outstanding Women Leaders Scholarship was established in 2017 to honor Mayor Pro Tem Northeast Ward Councilmember Vivian H. Burke for her 40 years of service to the City Council of Winston-Salem and the founder of the Outstanding Women's Leader Award in 2003. And whereas the Outstanding Women Leaders Program Committee raised funds to offer an annual $500 Outstanding Women Leader Scholarship to an outstanding female high school senior from the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School System. And whereas the criteria for the scholarship includes having outstanding performance in academics, leadership, integrity, school service, community involvement, and showing compassion towards others, maintaining at least an unweighted 2.5 GPA, completing at least an 8-hour of community service, complete a 250-word essay, apply at a community college or four-year institution, and attend a personal interview with the Outstanding Women Leaders Committee. And whereas Nicole E. Turbiday from Atkins High School was selected as the 2019 Future Outstanding Women's Leader Scholarship winner based on her application and interview for her outstanding drive and desire to lead others. And whereas Nicole has a desire to become a nurse and has been accepted to both Winston-Salem State University and University of North Carolina at Greensboro. And whereas Nicole was awarded the $500 Future Outstanding Women Leaders Scholarship at the annual Outstanding Women Leaders Program on March 21st, 2019. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and the Winston-Salem City Council approve honoring the aforementioned 2019 Future Outstanding Women Leaders Scholarship recipient, Nicole E. Turbiday, and wish her much success as she continues her efforts in leading the next generation of women leaders.
Is there a motion? So moved. Second. Motion second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
I know no one's opposed. That's unanimous. Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Burke, you'd like to?
Yes, I'll go down there, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. I guess we are voting on this. All those in favor vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. Thank you. That's.
Good evening to the Mayor and City Council, to Mr. Lee Garrity and staff, and to all of our friends here. We especially want to thank the Outstanding Women's Committee, because I could not be standing here if you all had not worked so hard, and we appreciate the assistance that Ms. Smith gives us. And so at this time, Ms. Griswold, would you like to say make a comment?
Good evening. We had 10 applicants this first year. We were very pleased with that, and they were from 8 of the high schools. And Nicole was just outstanding in everything. And I'm not sure you know, but she did all of this work, community work, and she also got a certificate as a CNA at Forsyth Tech. So she is an outstanding young woman, and we're happy to present this to her.
Yes.
this young lady exemplifies is tenacity and will. And you can never let anybody steal that away from you. Always fight for what you believe, but mostly yourself, your family, your community. And always dream big. And again, you can do whatever you want to do if you just believe and you hope. That's all you got to do to make it a reality. You're already doing it.
Yeah.
So we commend you, the members of the City Council, the City of Winston-Salem, and the OWLs of the Outstanding Women's Leadership Program on your accomplishments. And we look forward to seeing what you accomplish in another 2 to 3 years, okay?
Nicole, the hardest part of any journey is that first step. You've already taken amazing steps. So we're looking forward to seeing you on your journey. It will be a journey of excellence, a journey that you will say, I can do it, I have done it. You will inspire others, and we are so pleased that you're one of ours. Congratulations. Thank you. Let you know your parents are here. Your parents? Let them know your parents are here.
Yeah.
Tell them your parents' name.
I just wanted to recognize my parents here, my mom, Rita, and my dad, Daniel.
Would you like to make a comment?
Nicole, would you like to make a comment?
Yes, but just ask about
I just want to say what an honor this is to be recognized by such an amazing group of women that I've had the opportunity to meet and get to know, and it really means a lot to me to be a part of something, a part of my city, Winston-Salem, and to be recognized with everyone here, and it means so much. And I just wanted to also thank everyone who's helped me along the way, including my parents who have inspired me every single step of the way and have pushed me day after day to do what I have done.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nicole.
Good work, Mom and Dad.
I would like to say this, Mayor, a minute.
Yes, please.
The mayor and I have taken it upon ourselves to provide scholarships for students. We started the first ones at Forsyth Tech. Not only have we provided scholarships, but we also help the buried families in the city. But we're cutting that out now. But we will continue to do whatever we can, and we would say to each and every person in this city, there are many more Nicoles in this world. And I cannot say enough about what has been said. This is a challenging time in this world, and we sincerely appreciate you when you leave, whatever school you attend, say, I live in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the place I love.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations again. Tonight's agenda of the City Council is comprised of two parts, the consent agenda and the general agenda. As always, the practice of this council to take the consent agenda as the first order of business. Items on this agenda have been unanimously recommended by a committee of the City Council or are being submitted in accordance with established city procedure. There will be no discussion of the items on this agenda unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered individually. Items not removed from the consent agenda will be enacted with one motion. Tonight's meeting is being televised live on TV 13, and it will be replayed Tuesday at 9 a.m. and again Wednesday at 9 p.m. Of course, copies of our agenda as well as videos of previous meetings are always available online at the city's website, and just click on the Watch Meetings Online option. Council members, without objection, we'd like to pull item C1 and refer it back to the Finance Committee for some further discussion. Any objection to that? All right, thank you. We'll pull that forward. Are there any other items that council members would like to pull? Councilmember
C8.
All right. Is there a motion on the balance of the agenda?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the balance of the consent agenda. All those in favor of that motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no.
Mine's not coming up. I'll vote yes.
There it is. Okay, that is unanimous. Thank you very much.
We voted for you then.
All right, we go to item C8.
Item C8, Resolution approving modifications to lending guidelines for single-family rehabilitation and the Transforming Urban Residential Neighborhoods TURN program, recommended by Finance and Community Development, Housing, and General Government Committees.
Councilman Clark.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment on this. Let me get to. We've got a program. We funded it with $4 million, I think, 2 years ago. I think we're about halfway through the program. We've spent about half the money. I have no problem, and I will support this. Support it at committee meeting. I'll support tonight. But my concern is this. This is not the answer. I asked at the committee meeting, I haven't got an answer how many substandard houses we have in this area, but let's just say it's 5,000. And if we average 50,000 a house, that's $250 million. And a roof lasts 20 years, a hot water heater maybe lasts 12, refrigerator maybe 14. So you'd need $250 million to bring them up, and in another 20 years you're going to need another $250 million. We've got to come up with a better program that leverages other dollars, particularly private sector dollars, whatever. My wife happened to run in the Hamburgberg, which is the Habitat 5K run, and it was run through the Happy Hills area. I had a chance to visit with a number of the board members of Habitat, and they are more than willing to work with us. They said there's 15 or 20 lots in that, and these are just examples, 15, 20 lots in that area that are vacant and abandoned that we could foreclose on and they could build houses on. BB&T did a program with them several years ago where they subsidized part of the building. Right now, for an organization to build a Habitat house, they have to raise 75, and I think BB&T maybe did a third of it or something. I don't know what. But anyway, they got a lot more leverage. I was beyond impressed with what I saw. Now, by the way, I didn't run. I drove it in a car, but I did do the route. The number of Habitat houses over there and the quality of them, and they just didn't build one here or there. They actually had a whole neighborhood of them. And Dee Dee, I guess is this your ward?
That's mine.
Yours? Okay. I mean, it is just outstanding. But we've got to, if we truly want to address substandard and affordable housing, we got to come up with a plan that costs less than $65,000 per house, and that's just renovating an old house. So I challenge the staff to work with the other folks in the community to come up with some type of program, because I think 5,000 may even be a low number for the number of houses that we need to address. And understand that every year, every house in this town gets a year older. So some that maybe aren't substandard now may be substandard in 10 years, 5 years, whatever. So again, I just mention those as examples. I know and again, Ms. Adams chairs the committee that community development is looking at city vacant lots, things of that sort, but I think we really need to be more creative than spending that kind of money. And I don't doubt that the houses don't need that kind of work, but we will never make a dent if we're basically fixing up 1% of the houses that need to every year, understanding that there's probably a 20-year cycle, and you got to start over again. Anyway, that's all I have to say, and I'll move approval of this item.
All right, I'll get a second, and then we'll get some other people wanting to speak.
Second.
Second, okay. Councilman Adams.
Yes, thank you, Councilman Clark. As you know, the city is working to improve the affordable housing in this city along with some other stakeholders as well. We've gotten back our housing study. We got a lot of balls in the air in trying to bring some remedy to this. This is not going to go away. This is a national crisis across the whole country. The National League of Cities has appointed a task force, and that's the organization that all municipalities belong to. They're like the activist advocates for all of the country. And they're working with this task force, and they're also sending down, I'd say more strategy for cities to be able to move forward in some capacity. We're not going to get off the mark in 5 months, a year, 2 or 3 years. It's going to take longer than that because we didn't get here in short time. It took time for our city as others to get where we are in the amount of affordable housing we need, as well as the houses that are already needing much repair and houses that have been depreciated. due to the housing market and the recession and other things in our city. But I want to say that we're working. We have, again, an affordable housing task force. I'm sure all of you know you're welcome to be a part of it. Community government, community development, general government will be the pass-through committee for all of these ideas and initiatives that we're trying to come up with to make it better. Now, getting back to Turn, this idea came to fruition through the council and committee a few years ago. And again, it was a Band-Aid. That's all it is, along with everything else that we do, whether it's community development, block grant money, housing finance money. It's just another tool in our toolbox. And Councilmember Clark, you're right. We are looking for more public-private partnerships. That is part of the solution, coming not just from the National League of Cities, but the federal government as well as the state. So you've got every entity you can think of, as well as Habitat and the nonprofits and everybody, the Poverty Thought Force, these other groups out here, working to try to engage the community and all of us and realize that we are not alone in this national crisis, and that you'll be hearing updates. As a matter of fact, we're meeting, I think, Mayor, next week or week after.
20.
Yeah, we're meeting to discuss the initiation of what do we do. So I'm looking forward to that work, and I hope that all of you, as well as the community and others, would join us in this work that we have to do, because it's a great task before us, okay?
Councilman Larson.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. What I like about this particularly is it's reinvesting in our older neighborhoods. We have housing stock that's out there. We have neighborhoods that are well established, but maybe getting a little rough around the edges, and we need some investment. What I oftentimes see in these kinds of situations where the city will come in and provide some financial support, and there's a lot of sweat equity that goes on with the individual homeowners. We talk about private investment. We certainly saw that in West End. We've seen it in Washington Park and in West Salem, where these monies have been made available, and they make a difference because that liquidity will come in, and then the homeowners can often do a great deal of work based on that. So I think that's good. Also, what this is doing is expediting the process. Part of the problem that you drew attention to was a failure to get this money out to the people. And what we're seeing with this particular enactment is a way to speed making that money available to the households that need that work in the most direct way possible. And that's a decision-making process to deal with the backlog, to deal with the administrative aspects, streamline all of that, and get the money out to the people where it needs to be. And so I think this is simply one little chip in the mosaic, as Councilmember Adams has said, to address a huge problem that this city faces. But we have to chip away at this every chance that we get, and this is a good way to do it.
Yes, we have been struggling for years to try to find some way to make neighborhoods that are older neighborhoods where you have very nice homes, but investors have purchased those homes and they don't take care of them. Now, some years ago, I said to Habitat, and the city manager can verify this, that they need, if they would, but they didn't accept it at that particular time, go through the neighborhoods, take these houses, stable neighborhoods, and make them livable again. Some years ago, we started a public-private housing committee for this city, and we have not overlooked. So I did initiate changing general government, adding to it community development housing to make it more effective. And so I would hope, as I've been saying to Ms. Logan Ford, please don't let the turnaround time be so difficult. I think sometimes we wait a little too long to get results. So it's something that's needed. And do we have any kind of time that we have said, show us the product, any areas?
Ms. Ford?
In terms of showing us the product of homes that have been done?
In a program, if something that you're working on that we're talking about today, and you start on a project, do you have a time that you can say, we have done so many houses and we want you to see this?
Okay. So we provided a report that shows the number of homes that have been done in each ward, and Councilmember Taylor of the Southeast Ward had the highest number of homes that have been done, but we do have a list that we can provide where if an individual wants to see a home that has been renovated through the program, then they can contact us with community development, and we can provide that list. A lot of the work that has been done has been primarily interior work, delayed renovations in terms of roofs. We do some handicap repair for accessibility issues interior to the bathrooms. So a lot of the work is interior, but with increasing the limits, we can also start to see more of that curb appeal items addressed and make some visible improvements that you'd be able to see just by riding down the road.
Thank you. You shared a little bit of that the other day.
Yes, ma'am.
Some years ago, ESR started Reservation. There's a strong program, state Reservation program, and you can go and they will put roofs on your homes. They will put refrigerators and stoves in your homes. They will make sure your house is weatherized. And I think that's something that some of the citizens didn't know about, and I think we should make them more aware of it. I don't know how you would do it, Ms. Ford.
We could have additional information in our office to show the programs that are available outside of the city's loans. In addition to TURN, we also do rehab loans, and we also have loans through our community development block grant funds to help homeowners as well.
And the more we talk to them about it, the more the public will be aware of it. And I think that will be important, and I thank you for your information.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember McIntosh?
Yeah, we're not alone in this situation of lack of affordable and quality housing. And I think we're also not alone in recognizing that, that the housing shortage and affordability issue goes as much to poverty as anything else. They run hand in hand. And I think the city has, with the formation of the Poverty Thought Force Commission, I think is taking on that. And I think the two go hand in hand. I don't think we solve one without solving the other. If we don't solve the poverty issue, then when that time comes around to redo that $10,000 roof, you're going to be back in the same place. So these two things have to go hand in hand. And to go back to talk about Habitat for a minute, Habitat has done something really well in that they do an education program with their new homeowners to sort of line them up to succeed and not to fail. I think we're looking at that and getting involved in that. I think that makes a big difference in the long run. But working with our partners, we are not going to do this lift alone. It's got to be federal. It's got to be state. It's got to be realtors. It's got to be industry people. So it's a big problem. We're not going to solve it overnight, but it's something that this council placed as our highest priority on our most recent strategic planning session. So,
Thank you, Councilmember.
When we start building houses in the city, would you please go back and let us know, are those residents still staying in the houses? The city did a pretty good job of providing housing, and I passed through some of the areas, and the homes are still looking nice. And I want to know how many of the people are still homeowners in that particular house. We got started up there, Untitled Chapter, years ago, meeting with the people. And then they did a lot of building there. Then they went off of Cleveland and 15 back in there. And so, and they still look good.
Councilmember McIntosh, I think you're exactly right. There's it's not just a Winston-Salem issue. Cities across the state and the country are facing the same issue. As a matter of fact, I'm chairing a group of North Carolina mayors in this whole issue. I think the housing study said we need about 15,000 new units in the next 8 years, and of that number, about 5,500 need to be affordable, if I remember correctly. So it's a big undertaking, and as Councilmember Adams said, we've got a lot of hope around the housing coalition, Affordable Housing Coalition is going to help us with this. All those in favor of the motion, please say vote yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. Thank you. That is unanimous. Thank you, Councilmember Park. We'll now go back to the general agenda, which is comprised of the following. There are 2 items related to appointments and reappointments to boards and commissions, as well as the public comment period. The public comment period is a time we set aside once per month for citizens to express their opinions on matters germane to city government. And when the comment period is called, each speaker will be given 3 minutes for the comment, and then we will limit the total comment period to 30 minutes. May we have item number 1, please? G1.
Item G1, Mayor joins recommendations for appointments to Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. Glenn Orwell Jr., category position, term expiring March 2022. Mark Dunnigan, Brenda Diggs, Gail Anderson, Daisy Rodriguez, Brian Heelan, Bill Hayes, Paul Ford, and Melissa Vickers, all terms expiring March 2022.
Is there a motion?
motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion.
Lead me to it.
All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. Thank you very much. And this is typically a pretty hard-working committee if it goes by the one we had back in 2014. Okay, item G2.
Item G2, Mayor joins recommendations for reappointments to the City County Planning Board. George M. Bryan Jr., term expiring February 2023.
Is there a motion?
Motion approved.
A second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by voting yes. Anyone opposed, vote no. Thank you. That is unanimous. We'll now go to item G3.
Item G3, public comment period.
As I mentioned, this is item time once per month. We ask the citizens who would like to address us. Feel free to do so. We have two people signed up. Joanne Allen, if you would give your name and address for the record, please.
Joanne Allen, P.O. Box 284, 27102, President of Action for Now Incorporated. We have to run the city like a business. This is exactly what you all have done, leaving out the most important element, doing what is in the best interest of the people first. How does it feel to know that you and other previous council members helped contribute to Winston-Salem being amongst the worst city in the United States for helping children to remain in a constant cycle of poverty? While you all have given millions of dollars in incentives and loans to corporations, friends, associates, and others, you also created a subclass of people who live in poverty, are homeless, unemployed, and being removed from their homes through gentrification, all in the name of economic progress. Take a look at your latest failure, the downtown Crystal Towers. Once again, our city government, the mayor and the city attorney, are back in the news facing issues of credibility. What happened to representing and putting the people of Winston-Salem first? What happened to transparency and holding elected officials accountable for their actions? Oh, that's right. When citizens come before you, you think they're speaking negative about your character or criticizing you because they don't ever talk about the good you all do. Well, guess what? That's what you're supposed to do. Some of the worst dictators in the world did a lot of good for their friends and sometimes for their own countries. But guess what? It didn't make them honorable, nor did it make them good people. It's time for a clean slate with a different direction for progress. Good leadership does not mean handing out a few $1,000s to private and public nonprofit organizations to fix the problems of this city and some of you all have created. And by the way, this city has over 250,000 residents. So when you want to limit the speaking time to a total of 30 minutes at the city hall meetings, this shows your absolute disregard and disrespect for the citizens of Winston-Salem. If there are 20 people here and they want to address this council, I don't care if you have to be here all night. That's what you're supposed to do. Listen to the voice of the people. Some of the problems that you just finished talking about with the housing, the affordable housing, and you're right, it didn't just start this year, last year, or 2 or 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago. But that's what the city council is for, to do planning, not a 5-year, not a 6-year, but way down the road. You have to kind of foresee what's going on. All I can say is that it is time for change. Thank you.
Joseph Suggs? Joseph Suggs? Mr. Suggs, leave. Anyone else like to be heard during public comment? Yes.
Okay. Yeah, my pen didn't work, so I didn't get to write down my statement. So, my name is Austin Hicks. I go to West Forsyth High School. For the last month and a half, I have been putting together a town hall to address the issue of poverty in Winston-Salem. It's going to be held on April 7th at the 5th Street Library. And I've put together, me and students from almost every high school in the county have been working together to bring a bunch of community leaders. So far we have Professor Melissa Harris Perry, Professor Rogan Kirsch, and the head of the Partnership for Prosperity, John Rayleigh, yes, recently appointed and recently created. My question is, well, first off, would you guys like to go to my town hall? And second of all, can you tell me a little bit about the Partnership for Prosperity, its missions, its goals, and a little bit, and elaborate on the poverty thought force and how those policies you propose are going to be implemented?
Absolutely. We'd be happy to do that. And if you would give the city manager a contact, I will call you personally and give you that briefing. Okay. Thank you for pulling that together. It's very encouraging that you're doing that, and I'm so excited about the other high schools joining with you on that. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing no one, I'll close the public comment period and would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Motion second to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. We are adjourned.